Moment. Since we're live now. Okay. Good morning and welcome all you people out there. This show will be broadcast on YouTube via Facebook. This is a live show. We have live guests today. This particular show is about CPS. It's a secret. No, it's not really a secret, but anyway, it's how to get back your children and how to fight CPS. And I know a lot of you are probably going through a CPS matter. It's a family matter. It's a lot of strain on relationships, a lot of strain on family and loved ones. And I feel for you. I am a survivor. I've been in CPS. I was involved in 3 years, 2015, and then I've been still involved 9 years later. My case was settled in 2017. Um, I try to help and give my experiences to all you out there. And this, I want to understand that I'm not a lawyer, but I have 9 years of dealing with CPS. I've talked to numerous people across the country in almost every state, as far remote as Maine. And then we have the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota with the Lakota Sioux, and down in Florida. And of course, I'm in Southern California. It's not supposed to rain, but it is raining. We got hippos and alligators coming down, and we have extensive flooding. I live close to the beach, and so our drainage isn't as great as some others. Um, the show is produced by Vincent W. Davis and Associates. It's a law firm with lawyers in many different types of law. This particular CPS deals with family law, and the attorney, Vincent W. Davis, is a professional licensed law attorney with many, many, many years of experience of fighting CPS. He's a trial attorney. He works in Southern California as well as Northern California and all the 50 states. His retention varies on the complexity of this case and where it's located, and so it all varies. But one thing's nice is Vincent right now, Mr. Davis is offering a 30-minute to an hour of free consultation. What that means is that he will talk to you with no charge about the strategies of how to fight CPS and get your children back. Because as you'll find, that fighting CPS without an attorney or with a public defender or by yourself, it will be a disaster. It was for me because I started off without an attorney. And it's like a doctor. If you have to have open heart surgery, you got to have a doctor. You're not going to do it yourself, and you're not going to get somebody just out of medical school to do it. And these attorneys, very important that they are familiar with family law. They've done cases. In fact, Mr. Davis has actually sued CPS and won cases against them. So not only will he fight to get your children back and so forth, he also do cases where he sues CPS. So he's well known and will get the way to get a hold of Mr. Davis is to call my office at 888 6582. And when you call in, make sure you mention my name, Bob Pace. And then what you want to do is that you want to schedule a time and a date that he has open and that you can go and meet with him. If you tried to schedule something in the past, hasn't worked out, my apologies. Try it again. It's very important. He's a busy, busy person, but it was well worth your investment in there. I know a lot of you may not be able to afford attorneys, and it is really hard. It's really, really hard, and I understand that. And there is things I can say on the show that will help you out greatly. Um, the other thing is, in order to be a guest on the show, um, you can call in at 888 6582. Say my name, Bob Pace, and that you want to be a guest on the show, and they'll schedule it. Just like Vinny, he called in and he scheduled a time to be on the show and talk. So, with that said, now I'm going to get ready to start our guest here. For some of you, I've been using the word CPS. You may not know that, but CPS stands for Child Protection Services. It has other acronyms in other states. And then on top of that, it's a branch of social services. Its sole purpose is to protect our children and do family reunification. But some things have altered and changed in CPS, so it isn't what it is supposed to be. But they're supposed to be able to fix the hiccups in what got you there. All allegations by CPS are considered to be true. This is the problem. You are guilty until you're proven innocent. It isn't like regular court where you are innocent till you're proven guilty. So, with that being said, um, you have an uphill battle there because you have allegations come in. So, with further ado, here, Vinny, I'd like to hear from you about how you got involved with CPS and your family and so forth. Go ahead, Vinny.
All right. Well, it started about 4 months ago. Me, my wife, and my children were staying at a friend's house. DHS showed up at our door, at her door. No court order, no warrants, no nothing. Asked to come in. I had told them no, they could not.
Good.
Um, they spoke with my wife, and she allowed them in. When it
Oh,
spoke, and I told her, I said, if you look at laws, it states that both parties have to agree to let them in by law.
yeah, oh yeah,
So they violated that right.
right.
Um,
Well, your wife gave permission, so
yeah,
if she gave permission, she kind of supervented that because if they have permission, they can enter it, but they have to have a court order or a warrant before they come. Even a policeman has to have a court warrant. Your home is your castle. You can protect it, and you have to have
right.
a warrant. They will not
So
come in unless, yeah.
they came in, and I just found out recently that they threatened her into signing a safety plan.
Oh boy,
Um,
you weren't a part of the safety plan when they had that safety plan done.
so they removed me from the house, no court order, no warrant, and told me I had to go.
Now, do they have?
See,
I
these
mean, why did
allegations.
you refuse to go? Why did you refuse to go?
They told me that if I didn't leave, that they were going to have a police escort me off the property.
Well, they would have to get a warrant. That's their deception. They're not transparent. They're using deceptions, and they love using the police. And people are intimidated
Yep.
by that. I know what you're going through. Did you think about calling an attorney?
I tried looking into it, but where I had no job at the time,
Okay.
um, I had
All right. So you're unemployed now. Did you have what were your allegations? Your alleged allegations? We have a little bit of a technical problem here, but hopefully it'll clear up in a second. Looks like Vinny's stuck there at the moment. Um, the internet can be a problem, especially wet weather and so forth. We have a lot of different things happen around the country with weather and rain and so forth. So it sounds like Vinny and his wife were home. And are you back there, Vinny?
there we go. I'm back.
All right, go ahead. What were the allegations? It's okay, Vinny. It's right now showing a white line. So we're trying to find out what the allegations are that were Vinny was with. And there's already mistakes happening in the case. You are very intimidated by the CPS. They are very intimidated. The social service workers can be very deceptive and intimidated. Okay, welcome back. Go ahead, Vinny.
Thank you. So they forced me out of the house. I had nowhere to go at the time, so I got a hold of my mother, who I originally was living with. Um, before all this took place, but I was protection ordered out of the house due to incidences with family. Um, since then, the protection orders have been dropped, and that's been all fixed. But there's been nothing. They've said that they have proof of all this evidence. We have not seen this proof. Um,
What are the allegations?
Sexual abuse.
Okay, so how many children this you have?
I have a total of two of my own and two step kids.
Right. Are they all under the age of 18?
Only three of them are. The other one
Right.
is 19 out of the house.
Okay. Okay. And so these
Uh,
allegations were they on your children or your stepchildren?
they were on my stepchildren.
Okay. So your regular
So
children, there's allegations against them, against you.
yes, there's none of my two kids.
Okay.
No.
Right. Okay. So
Um,
they felt
they
there's
have
immediate danger to remove you from the house and immediate to um, um, not be around. Were you and your wife going through a custody battle, or were you just having hard times in life?
we were just having a hard time. We faced a lot of obstacles with being kicked out of where we were living for 3 years.
Uh huh.
Um, our income wasn't as big as it used to be.
Okay.
Um, plus we had kids that were, you know, from the ages of 3 and up. So
All
we've
right.
had a fight since then. Um, and these people came in and took off at my parents' house, and they removed my kids again. No court with the homeowner at the house. He tried to stop it, and it would not. They would not listen to him. My
Okay.
kids were safe. They were with family. I was not there. I was out of state at the time that this all took
Okay.
place. I
All right.
found a place to go out of state.
Okay.
Um, then a couple
Were
months
you allowed? Were you allowed to visit your kids?
I have not, and there is no court order stating otherwise.
Okay. So
They
you have
have
no
denied
visitation with your kids. That's terrible. Go ahead.
they have denied me my rights to my visits and said that they have the right to tell me that I'm not allowed to see my kids. No, they don't, because I looked it up in the state of Maine. A judge is the only one that holds that right.
Well, yeah, your plan has to be approved by the court, the dependency court. Now, your plan, since you weren't present at the plan, what did the plan say where the kids could stay and who with?
At the time, they were they were safe at my mother's house. And then that's when they came in because my wife left this family team meeting that they held, and which was the more interesting part because they violated law there. They held this family team meeting, and they had a state trooper there. Okay, my attorney now, because I'm on my second attorney, told
Right.
me that they are not supposed to be having any police officers at any family team meetings.
That's intimidation. That's intimidation.
Right. And I have proof of them lying on documentation that there was not going to be any police officers there. And I hold this proof, and I showed my attorney, I said, I have the proof. And he goes, yeah, you definitely have this proof that, there was an officer there. I have a recording of the officer stating her name. Um, and they kept
What were they
asking
afraid? What were they
repeatedly.
afraid you do? I mean, were your children present
They
at the
were
scene?
not.
So,
No,
what were they worried that you do? Why they need a policeman there?
that's what we don't understand.
Okay.
Um, I didn't show up to this meeting because I had that gut feeling. I've dealt with CPS in the past, not as bad as this time, but I
Hmm.
have dealt with them in the past. Um, because I have a son by a different mother, so I
Okay.
have dealt with them.
Okay.
Um, so I kind of know how they act and what they do. Um, so
What was the result of the previous CPS matter with your son? What were the allegations then?
there was none. It was, they we had my son in the hospital, and there was a complaint made on my wife at the time because she was my wife,
Right.
and they they held it for 3 to 4 days. She could not have visits with our son.
Okay.
I was the only one that was allowed in and out of this room where they kept
Okay.
him. Um, so that all got cleared up, and I was able to bring my son home. So that was the end of that. I never heard anything after that.
Well, they're probably using
Um,
that against you now. I mean, they're going to go back into history if you have a case. And I hate to say it, CPS says that all parents are bad and they will treat you the worst case scenario.
oh yeah, they definitely do because they tried to use that. I smoke marijuana, so that's a problem. Well, mind
Right.
you, my medical card, it's been approved by my doctor that I can smoke marijuana because it's medically legal here and it is recreational legal in Maine.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's not legal around children. That's the problem that people forget. Anybody who's a minor 18 years cannot be around marijuana or exposed to it.
right,
And
and I try not to.
that's where they try to get you. I mean, yes, legally, medically, there in all states like Colorado and even California, but you're not supposed to smoke marijuana or be around it with your kids who are 18 or years younger. So they're going to try to bust you there.
Yeah, which they did, but they could
Yeah.
not prove that because
Well,
they made me do a.
they make the allegations. The allegations, I hate to say, their court are considered the truth. You have to disprove it.
Which they haven't proven any of this physically, any of that.
Right.
They said they had this interview of this kid, and we have yet to see that interview come across the table. They were supposed to have two court hearings about this, and each time they canceled canceled that court.
Okay.
Goes on to they started violating my rights. Um, them
Your civil
saying
rights. Uh-huh.
that I have no rights. They violated both my civil rights, my parent rights, my constitutional rights.
Yep.
And I put this in front of them, like constantly. Like I was always looking up law. I'm always, watching Vincent Davis's shows and I'm learning things because I'm watching, reading, writing down, and I'm paying
Right.
attention to what everyone has to say. So I use that in life. And I start putting the Constitution in front of them. I start putting the civil rights in front of them, and we have not heard nothing in over a week. Mind you, since this all began, my wife does have visits with my child. She has visits twice a week. Okay, I do not have visits at all. Well, the first visit was wow, it was good, and then we got into a couple weeks later. My 3-year-old starts showing up to visits with noticeable bruises on her. Well, we let these people know, even the guardian at Lightem, um, and we show them pictures, and they say, "Oh, it's a couch." Well, I had it looked into by someone else, and they said it was definitely not a couch. It looks like someone had grabbed my daughter's arm.
Oh boy.
Um, then
Now, they're being cared by who though? Who's your daughter staying with?
she's in foster care.
Okay,
They would
so
not
they
place her.
moved from a family home. You said at first they were with family members. Now they moved into foster care. Okay.
What?
So now they're in foster care, and harm does happen to kids in foster care.
Right. So, mind you, this lady that is the foster parent has six other kids in her house.
Oh yeah, foster parents sometimes are overwhelmed because they want children, but they'll lie too. And my son was abused in foster care, so I know what you're going through.
So she ends up with that bruise on her arm. Then a couple of weeks later, it came to like Christmas time, and it was a vacation, so they don't have usually visits during vacation. Um, so my wife goes back the following week and finds more bruises on her. This time it was underneath her chin and right
Mm.
here on the side of her face. And they
Okay.
said, well, she fell down. My kid has never ever had bruises on her in our custody, not
Right.
once.
Right. Right.
Um, then this like 2 weeks ago, she showed up to visits again with her whole nose all scunned up, had a bruise on her leg,
Right.
and they she fell down the stairs.
Okay.
Well, if you fell down the stairs, don't you think that you would investigate this? Because the fact of
What is the 3-year-old being around stairs in the first place? Where is
right,
the protection of your daughter?
right, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to investigate into this, and we'll get back to you on what we find." Well, I told my attorney, I was like, "Listen, I want something done here because if she fell down the stairs, I want her seen. For one, she could have a concussion.
Right.
My biggest concern is the welfare of my children.
Yep.
And if they can't uphold that welfare, they should not have my children.
Okay. Now, the attorney that you have, is he a paid attorney or is he a public defender?
He is through the court system. He's the second one I've had. The first one
Yeah.
refused to do his job.
Right.
I
Those are public defenders, and I'm sorry to tell you this, they're not very good. They have a caseload of 20 people at a time. They're fresh out of law school. They don't have the background as much in there. And they are friends of the judge and friends of the social workers, attorneys. They make deals in the courtroom in dependency court, and you will not get really a fair hearing. They will sit there. The whole purpose why this is taking long, why things are delayed, is that CPS, the branch of social services, it's $1 billion business to keep children in custody because they get more state funds, more federal funds the longer the kid. Their goal is to have your child adopted. That's their goal because they can receive funds up to the age of 18. So you can imagine the amount of money that the state and federal government pays this agency who doesn't have a watchdog watching over how the payment of funds are being used, doesn't have a watchdog on how they're handling, and they're going to use deceptions, delays, intimidations, which you're experiencing with the state trooper there, and not being part of the family planning to begin with anyway. And did they offer you a group home for your kids?
They did not. They didn't even offer the fact of placement with family members.
Okay. Now, did you, are you by any chance have native Indian blood in you or your family at all?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. The reason why I bring that up, and I do this because the viewers out there, there may be Native American Indian children. And there was a law passed in 1979 called ICWA. It's the Indian Child Welfare Act. And what it does, it has the tribe take care of their own, meaning that CPS has to turn over the children if they're a registered Indian tribe member or could be registered. And so I'm only saying that because there may be Indian children out there, and it's a lot better for them to go through the tribe than it is to go through the CPS, who's strictly in there for the money part. So I'm only bringing that up, and I'm just trying to say that I'm a Lakota Sioux. I may not look it, but they denied my children to go to the tribe, the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. But anyway, um, so uh, have you had the? Do you have a plan? What do you need to do about the allegations of the sexual charges on your kids? What are you supposed to do
Well,
there?
they wanted my wife and myself to do certain things to reunificate. Um, Mind you, I started doing everything on my own without their help. I have not done anything with their help. I set up
Okay.
my own counseling. I set up my own drug test. I
Okay.
set I set up my own parent classes, which I'm on the last 3 weeks of out of
Okay.
9 week course.
Okay.
Uh, I still am doing my counseling. I
Mm-hmm.
got the I got the drug test all done. They did not
Okay.
recommend any services from it because my test came back negative.
Okay. Good.
Um, my wife is also in counseling. They recommended that. Um, she has to do parenting classes, which she just finished yesterday. She had her
Okay.
final.
Is
Um,
she working with you to get your family back together? Is that her
she
goal?
she is now that she sees how corrupt this government is.
Okay.
Um, she started watching podcasts and listening to certain things and looking up things, and I've been showing her things that I've found. Uh, Plus, we kind of have the help of my older sister, who has been a real blessing to my life. Um, since I was a kid, she's helped me out in a hard time.
Good.
Uh, but I've dealt with most of all this on my own without the department's help.
All right.
Uh, these people still have not answered whether my daughter has been seen or not. Um, I put complaints in against one of the workers for defamation of character, and that was submitted yesterday. They acknowledged it.
Okay.
Um, then the guardian at Lightum is supposed to be contacting family, friends, anyone that had contact with the family to reach out. She has not done so.
All right.
So I contacted, the board of bar and talked to them about what was going on. So they sent me a complaint form. Well,
Okay.
they got the complaint this morning and submitted it, and it's going in front of the judge.
All right.
So I'm working on trying to get the guardian fired for not doing her job correctly.
So, are you still having the public defender defend you?
I do for now because I can't afford an
Yep.
actual attorney.
Right.
Um, like I said, I have orientation today. I'm just starting to get back on my feet work wise. Um, I've been out of work for a while. Have back injuries where um, I was born with my nerves never fusing to my lower part of my spine and my back.
Okay.
So I have arthritis, bulging disc, pinched nerves.
Yeah.
I have a lot of back problems. Um, so I tried to get my SSI and was denied 5 times of that as well.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm just going to go back to work because it cut out for a second.
Yeah, it will. You're in the area where you're driving that there's probably a dead zone, but
And to
it's
better
okay.
myself work wise, um, Yeah, yeah. Uh,
It's okay. Hang in there, Vinny. You'll come to a better spot. Right now, we're having Vinny, a father who has a wife, and he has two sets of children, his own children and children with his wife, and they're in a custody, not custody battle. They're in a battle with CPS that has alleged charges against them, and they're using a public defender, which is hard because all you people out there have to realize that a public defender is not going to be the answer to solve your case. They're very, very risky, meaning that they're pals. Okay, we got Vinny back here. Okay, go ahead, Vinny.
so I've been fighting them this whole entire time. I have not given in. I've done a lot of other things, like I got my wife to do marriage counseling. Um,
Good,
so we go once a week. We see a counselor once a week. I
good.
have written to the governor. I have written to the legislative committee. I wrote into the Department of DOJ. Um, I've reached out to anyone and anything that I could to get these people to see that they are violating my civil rights, my constitutional rights, that they forced me out of my home without any court order or warrant, took my children the same way, no court order, no warrant in hand, just came
Right.
into my parents' house and took my kids. And
Um,
these people
have
have
you
to be.
have you tried to change your social worker? Have you asked for a new social worker?
I have. I have requested new workers on the grounds that I have the right to, and
Right.
I got a reply back from the director stating you are to address that with your attorney and the worker. No, I am not. I am to. I asked the director personally to
Right.
change these records.
You're going to
And
find that director is crooked because I dealt in my case with a top dog, and it went in one ear, went up the other ear, and all the management people. I went through a whole pile of social workers. They, in my case, and where I'm at, they have a Taj Mahal of a building, overkill. Because again, I found out this $1 billion business they have of legally taking away children, legally upsetting families. Now, everybody has hiccups in life. There's nothing wrong with losing a job. I myself had lost a job, and it was not through fault of me. It was fault because the contract worker got the governor of the state of California written IOUs because they were in financial distress, and so I had to be let go. And when you lose a job, and I lost a job when I was age 60, that's really hard to do because people don't want to hire. I'm 74 now, so I know what you're going through, and I'm glad that you got this orientation for your new job because it shows me, and it should show anybody else with any intelligence, that you care about your family, that you want to do something for your family.
correct. And I want my kids to know, I'm not out there to be the bad guy. Like I am
Right.
fighting a good fight. I am fighting to see them. I have felt a little bit detached from my oldest. You know, I she requested that she doesn't want to be seen by me or her mother, um, due to her mental illnesses. She threatened suicide.
Oh boy.
When so they placed her in a place called Acadia, and she was evaluated, and she was there for like a week or two. Um,
Okay.
she's supposed to be undergoing counseling. I don't know if that has happened. They haven't said. They haven't updated us on anything as far as she's concerned. She's staying with a friend of my wife's, um, because they would not put her back in the foster parent place with my little daughter. Um, So they moved her in with her sister, who had made the allegations to begin with, after we requested them not to, because she had threatened to kill her own sister.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
so they placed my 13-year-old with her, knowing that we told them that her older sister threatened her life, and they didn't do nothing about it. They left her there for a week.
Wow. Um, at this time, I want to take a quick break here. I wanted to talk about our attorney who's, sponsors the show. His name is Vincent W. Davis. He's a licensed professional family law attorney with trial experience. He has practices in all the states and in Southern California, Northern California. So right now he's offering a special of a 30-minute to an hour consultation on the strategies of how to fight CPS and get your children back. To schedule this free consultation, you need to call in at 888-888-6582 and tell them that Bob Pace sent you. Also, after you have your consultation, you may want to retain him and work out in there and so forth. Um, uh, we have also at the same number, if you want to be a guest in the show, you can call in at 888-888-6582. Tell them that Bob Pace sent you and schedule a date and time you can talk like Vinny is. We do have a comment, Vinny, that comes in from Mario Garcia. I think I remember the name. He says they removed my kids and won't let me place them with relatives. So Mario has this comment here that I'm going to share with everybody. Mario, can you tell me what state you're from and why they won't place you with your relatives? Go ahead, Vinny. We'll see if we get an answer on this comment. Go ahead, Vinny.
Well, they usually do that to avoid, at least in Maine, I have seen it several times. They avoid the families because of they might find something in their file that they do not like, or there's been cases where people have made reports and they look at that and they tell them that they're not going to do it. For instance, my mother has made reports about me. I seen it in the report that they did. Um, so they probably feel like they don't want the kids around the people that make reports. Um, a lot of it was falsified. I have had dealings with CPS for the past, I would say, 4 to 5 years now. Um,
Wow.
my, my daughter was sexually abused by her grandfather, my wife's father. Um,
Okay.
there was proof of this. My stepson was as well. My stepdaughter did not come forth until 2 years later, after he had passed away, and said that he molested her. But there was no record of that because they talked to officers at a police station. Um, DHS did not want to look into this report as well. Um, my stepdaughter has accused not only myself, but my stepfather, uh, my wife's father, and it seems to be going down the line. Mind you, this child has gone after my best friend, who is in his 30s. Um, she has gone after a 45-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 21-year-old guy.
And how old
And
is this girl? How old is this girl?
she's at the time she was 16. Now she's
Okay.
17.
Yeah, the teenage years are really tough because it's really hard to disprove, or there's so much of it does go wrong like that. So I feel for you. I feel for you.
So I mean, there's a lot of gray, shady areas in this entire case, and I've tried to point out to them certain things, like I have screenshots of her posting on a public platform that she wants to kill herself, or that she's down for role play and NSFW, not safe for work, um,
Yeah.
and that she's drinking alcohol that she had stolen. She had stolen from her own grandmother $100, lied about it.
Yep.
Um, this little girl gets away with doing a lot of things, and the state doesn't even look at it. They're not
Well,
even.
yeah, there was a big, I don't know if you noticed in the news yesterday, Congress met with all the CEOs of all the social media programs like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything like that. We have a big problem. It's academic. And what's happened is that when people started giving cell phones to their children, it's an open avenue and there's nothing protection on the internet. Anybody can see pornographic material, anybody can learn stuff the hard way. It a lot has to do with the parents. When you give a child and they start early as in their elementary school level, give them a phone. Yes, there's a necessity of a phone if they get stranded and they need to communicate. The problem is kids will be kids, teenagers will be teenagers, and they're going to use that cell phone as a connection to the internet. It's their computer, and they abuse it. And we as parents have got to, be more careful with the kids. Take the phones away. Hold off giving the phone that's necessary. But we also need the social platforms to police themselves. I mean, there's been people that kill themselves because of this. It's not uncommon to have a suicide effect. One man had sexual pictures put on him and he killed himself because people were so mean about doing that. People have died using the social media. People have planned their high school shootouts or elementary schools. It's Sandy Hook. It's all full of it, and it's really become epidemic. And like in your case, you have your daughter there using that social media to exploit, or they want attention. They want attention, is what it is. It's an ego thing that they want. They just have not developed the adult skills yet. They're still teenagers, and teenagers want to be adults. They want to grow up too soon. They want to do things that adults are doing. And you have a tough thing because you're trying to maintain a job to take care of your family, to pay the bills. You care as a parent. You're an excellent parent because you're sitting here talking. You care about your kids. A lot of parents are not like, I shouldn't say, but there are some parents out there that do neglect, do abuse their children. A lot of stories are true, and social services is required by law to investigate any alleged complaint, to find out if it's true or not. And the thing is, they need to change some things. We need to change things the way complaints are made. In my case, I had family members that wanted to take away our children. They didn't like the idea of being married, their daughter. They didn't show up at the wedding. So allegations are very rampant, the child protection cases. And they get worse and worse. And now that child protection services have discovered that they can make a lot of money, I'm talking billions of dollars. It's not a civil thing. They get so much money from the federal government, so much money from um, the um, besides the federal government, they get so much money from the state. So, and if they get the child put in there for the 18 there, uh, they they uh, they will there. Go ahead, Vinny. Continue. I'll be right with you. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
They're supposed to have a Jeopardy here. It was supposed to be sometime this month. We haven't heard nothing about it yet. Uh, it's been no post, no anything, nothing from the judges, nothing from the court. Uh, I have not heard whether they're still going to hearing of the evidence or whatnot. Um, Not saying they will, because so far they have not produced the correct evidence. Um, there's been a lot of shady gray areas too, because not only have they violated civil rights with forcing me out, taking my kids, um, they threatened my wife, or uh, so that there's a lot of civil and constitutional right violations here. And
Okay.
I have fought this to the T, in and out. Um, Now that my wife is kind of more on my side and seeing, how DHS and CPS really act, she's understanding that they're not your friend.
You're right about that.
They have proven it time and time again over the years that I've dealt with them. Um, Not investigating certain things, allowing this 17-year old to see her older brother who is addicted to cocaine and special K.
Right.
He posted on Instagram about sexually molesting young girls. They have a big page about him online.
Right.
They used to sleep in the same room. He used to bring his girlfriends over and do stuff in front of this girl and didn't have any care that his sister was in the room.
Right.
Um, she has assaulted my mother, and I'm a witness to that. Um, and they just don't look into any reports whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to do their jobs, and I'm calling them out on it. And I have been.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to sit idly by while my 3-year-old is devastated. I see pictures of her from my wife all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because we live together, me and my wife. And she doesn't look happy. Like, she doesn't look like she's sleeping. Her eyes are all like saggy underneath. And it
Mm-hmm.
hurts my heart to see my little daughter, who, she went through hell. When my 3-year-old was born, we almost lost her at birth.
Wow.
Um, she stopped breathing. My wife started hemorrhaging, so I could have lost both of them.
Right.
I was there through the whole ordeal. Then, because I wasn't home with the kids, she was 10 years old at the time, and the older two, and I was at the hospital with their mother. Um, we get a call stating that my youngest at the time had OD'd on sleeping medication. We didn't know it at the time until I got
Oh,
home.
wow.
So she was rushed to the hospital in Bangor as well. I was already there because that's where they life flighted my 3-year-old to. Um, and so I got home and discovered that she had gotten into my sleeping medication, which was locked up in my drawer. Somehow she got in my drawer. Don't know to this day how. Um, they wanted to do a spinal tap on her because they couldn't figure out what was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for everything, I got home, found the pills, counted them, and noticed that there was a lot missing. And then I saw where she puked and found the casing to this pill.
Where did she find these pills to begin with? I missed that part.
They were locked up in my drawer in
So
my
she
bed.
had to get a key to open to get them.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. Did you talk to her about it, or?
Well, we did after the fact, and we told her that that's not going to be happening. But she has attempted to harm herself multiple times.
Have
Um,
you have you asked her why she wants to? I mean, is the CPS affecting her? Is her school affecting her? A bully or somebody?
well, we pulled her out of school and homeschooled her due to bullying. She was getting picked on by several kids at
Right.
school, between the school, the bus, because my daughter doesn't know what she wants to be. She she wants to be known as Trips.
Mm.
Um, she's having a gender crisis. I would say that's what it is.
Wow,
She
because the
can't
schools
decide if she
now
wants to be
are
male or
starting
female.
to, public schools are starting to encourage transgender. I mean, I'm not against people that want to be whatever they want to be, but they should keep them to themselves. And the school is a very terrible place because our public schools, a lot of the problems we're having with kids centers a lot of issues, and we all can't take care of them at once. I mean, even the world right now is encountering a lot of problems, and we are trying to take care of problems, and it's hard to fix problems. And people are holding each other hostage with cases. Parents will do that. People are alienating from their kids, the parents. There's the thing called alienation, and that happens with CPS. That happens to everybody because I hate to say it, we really are in a tough thing that family values are gone. Families right now are struggling, and it's not, it's the economy. When you see the price, I mean, my price of a gallon of milk is the same price as a gallon of gasoline, and that is
Yep.
atrocious. And I'm 74 years old, so I remember when I used to get gas for a quarter, and milk was 90 cents a gallon. So, I just am really shocked the way things are going. It's a really complex thing out there, but we are concerned about your case because you have a family. Everybody has a family, and everybody listening has a family. And I know you guys are struggling out there um, financially, and I did too. My only problem was is that I lost a job, and when I lose a job, my lifestyle was inundated, and then I had to sell my house to get my attorney to defend my case, and he rescued two of my three children. One child was lost. She was brainwashed into thinking that foster care was a way to go because suddenly I no longer could afford Disneyland passes. I could no longer afford to go to different countries. I used to go to Portugal, Brazil, Fiji. I would my world travel, been like that. So I had a really high paying job, beautiful home, and everything that, and I was destroyed. And on top of that, my family, my mom and dad were dying, and I had all their belongings in my home. And what got me in trouble was neglect of having personal belongings of another family member in the house that may endanger the kids. It was far stretch. It was a family of my wife's side that was trying to destroy a family, and they did. They've now are my daughter, who's 21 now. She was 12 at the time, divorced her parents. It's a really sad, sad thing to have that. Every day does not go by that I don't think about my daughter and what she's doing or what she's doing. And my two sons are together with me. One son today just wrote me a text message that actually brought tears to my eyes because I never received anything like this. And his religion teacher told him to write a message to your dad to thank him because he's going to private school. And I wanted an education, and I find that private schools are easier to control than public schools, meaning you have more of a stronger voice in a private school than you do in a public school because you can control the money and you have more of the say so. And he was a sport. He's an athlete. He played on the number one team in the United States in high school football, and it was 4 years of a valuable life that he is experiencing. But um, it sounds like your daughter really needs. Does she go get professional help, like counseling or something? Or
They're supposed to, whether they've done it yet or not. I
you
have not
know,
heard.
I bet this is what they do. There's one thing I hate about CPS. Right away, when your children are supposedly taken from you and put into a shelter right away, and then you have your planning meeting, your safety plan meeting, where they put their children, they take forever. They try to destroy a family for the sole purpose of the money part of thing. And here it is. These people, I mean, in your case, if you had a high paid job or you could take a mortgage on your home, you could hire a professional attorney. And they know that. The CPS workers take advantage of people that are not, you know, well to do. And in my case, I had a hiccup in my life that somehow I lost a job. I was very good at what I did, but it's been really difficult for me to find work. I did find work for about a year and a half, and they had no more work to give it to me, and they said, "Well, we got to let you go." It's because of age. It is age. It's the age. They just they're in there, and a lot of people are really uh, not want to be helpful. And I know what you're struggling through, Vinny, because you sound like a caring man, a loving man that loves his children, and you want to get back on track. Do you know what your goal? I mean, we only got about 5 minutes left of the show. Do you know um, what your plans are right now in the next month or two?
Well, I'm currently, like I said, trying to get back on my feet, get money under my belt, um,
Good,
you
good.
know, get my own place. But I'm also, with the help of my sister, going to be setting money aside for an actual family law attorney. Um, because I
Yeah.
feel like that these attorneys have so many cases. Like my attorney alone has 58 cases for himself.
Wow. That's the highest. I've heard 20 some, but 58 cases. Wow.
So he's a busy man. He's hard to reach. His voicemail box is always full, so I can't leave him a voicemail. I hear from him like once a week, if that.
You're lucky. You're lucky. Yeah, you're lucky. And it's going to be the sad part about it is that the public defenders do try, but they're controlled by CPS, and they want to milk you out for your children till they're 18. And so if they keep a child from age say 5 to 18, they get a lot of money every time they're in there, and they use that money, and they're given more than sufficient amount of money, by the way. They're given a lot of money, and when they give it to foster care, they don't give it all. They keep it for themselves, so that they give their workers bonuses. They can buy Gucci purses. The social workers are too young. They're too immature, and they've not mentored enough. They need to be a if a social worker starts out, they need to be mentored for 10 years so they get seasonal. They know how to take care of a family. Because, having a 22-year-old girl sit there and try to take care of your family is ludicrous. I mean, they're they're going to lie. They don't know about the truth. They're only interested in their bonus. Every social worker in my area in Southern California is given a bonus for every month or every year they keep a child in their custody. They're given a
Yeah,
bigger bonus if they can be adopted. They are really making money, and I've heard this about every case. 99% of the cases I hear on here, I'm talking over 200 cases. I very rarely, I did hear one good story yesterday where a parent did get her children back. She had finally got an attorney. She's from Texas, and it was a good story that she fought CPS and she won. So, you have to stick it. You have to have a big gut and a hard determination not to give up. And I don't want you to give up, Vinny. I want you to get your kids and that home of yours. Your home is your important thing, and you're doing the right things, getting a job, staying that thing. And I want you, to have good luck on your orientation, and I hope the job stays with you a long time, and that I hope that you can call in at another day and give us more up to date. Also, you can call at any time. I'm on 7 days a week, 7 in the morning, 10 in the morning and 7 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time. I love to hear from you and so forth. And I do try to share everything is out. Like there's a form called a 388. Are you familiar with that form?
I am,
Uh,
thanks to Davis and his
Yeah,
shows.
okay, right. Yes, yeah. See, there's things in there that will help you, and I don't know if Maine uses a 388 or not, but what that form is, it's a petition to change the current plan you're on with new evidence that you've done something or really like that. It will help you with your cases. So all you out there, look up a 388, and it tells you what it's good for, what it's used for, and I think it's used in any state it is. So There are forms and ways to get around the CPS's um, lack of character, lack of judgment, being transparent. Also, this election year, and we need to vote our judges in dependency court. They are elected officials, and we need to get a judge. My judge knew all about collisions and car damages, but he knew nothing about family or bring a family together. So we need to make sure we vote and exercise our right to vote for judges that go in there. Um, with that saying here, I want to repeat one more time that Vincent W. Davis is an attorney that's available. He's a child he's a family law attorney. He has a lot of experience dealing with getting your children back and fighting CPS. He is a trial attorney, and he is offering right now a free consultation of 30 minutes up to an hour to talk about the strategies of CPS and how they win and how to get your kids back. And hopefully you like them, you retain them, and you can do that. The number to call is 888-888-6582. Make sure you mention Bob Pace when you call in that you want to schedule a time with Mr. Davis. Also, you can call that same number to schedule a time to be a guest on the show. Just tell them the date and time you want to talk, and our producer will schedule that time. Is there any last parting words? I've gone over my time here, Vinny, that you want to say?
Just to all you parents out there, keep fighting. Do not give up. You can fight this, and you can beat CPS.
Yes,
Know your laws. Learn your laws. No matter where
yes.
you are, learn your laws.
Okay. All right, Vinny. Well, thank you very much. Good luck with what you're pursuing. I hope your children come back. I hope there's no heartaches for you to do anything more and that it's downhill and eventually you will. As long as you stay at it, you will see your children. You will get them back. You're a loving man, and I think it just shows there. God bless you. God bless to
Thank
all my listeners. Much success in the new year ahead and much happiness. With that being said, this is Bob Pace signing off, and I'll talk to you later today at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.